Hi everyone. I'm really excited to be back today. I've got a really neat project, or I hope it's going to be really neat. We're going to make another envelope journal today. I am using the digital kit from Victoria Designs, and I'll make sure I put their shop link below. This kit is called Vintage Ephemera Journal Kit, and it's just gorgeous. The colors are so rich and the details are amazing. So that's what we're going to be using for our supplies, and I'll make sure I put these below. I am using 2 of these Kraft paper envelopes. Now I found these at Hobby Lobby. I believe they are the A9 size. I'll make sure I put that below. I'm using 2 junk mail envelopes, like the return envelopes for your bills. I'm using 2 of those in 2 different sizes. I'm using a smaller, like a little thank you note sized envelope, and then I'm using another smaller greeting card sized envelope. So I'll make sure I put those measurements below. Actually, I'll throw them out at you real quick. This is about 5 3/4 by 8 3/4. This one is about 7 1/4 by 5 1/4, and this one is about 4 1/2 by 5 3/4. So basically, it's just that you have 3 different sized greeting card envelopes or that type of envelope, and 2 different sized junk mail envelopes. Okay, so we're going to be doing kind of a stack of letters on our cover. All right, so the first thing we are going to do is we are going to make a little bit of a spine here, so that way we can actually put a journal signature inside of this. Okay, so if I just glue it tight to the crease right there, I won't have any room to put my signature in, and I'll get alligator mouth. So I'm putting in about a 1/4 inch spine on my journal. Let me grab my ruler here. And let's see. Yeah, that's about the 1/4 inch mark. I could get my scoreboard out. I could probably see a little better if I did that, but I'm just kind of eyeballing it. That looks about right, and I'm just gonna fold it against my ruler there a little bit so I can mark the spot. So that's just how I work. I do have a nice scoreboard, I just hate digging it out, and it's too big to leave out. So see what I've done there? I've just created about a 1/4 inch little spine. Okay. All right, and now I am going to glue my envelope against the line that I just folded. Okay. You use whatever glue you'd like to use. I know a lot of people prefer art glitter glue, tacky glue, whatever you like to use. I'm going to use Fabri-Tac. It's what I like to use. It doesn't wrinkle my paper, and it dries really fast. Like Nick the Booksmith would say, I'm not your mom. She says that a lot in her videos. I'm not your mom. Okay. So see, we've already created kind of a little book. Alrighty. So that was our flap there that we made our spine with, and then this flap over here we're not going to glue down yet. Okay, so notice our envelopes face the same way. Both of our flaps were over here, 1/4 inch spine. Okay. Now I'm going to have a stack of envelopes on here, and they're going to flip-flop out. Okay, but I want to be able to tie them down. So to do that, I'm going to put down some twine or some string, or you can use sari silk. You can use whatever you want to use. It will all work. I am going to use some of this string. Oh, and I don't know how much I want yet, so I'm just cutting off a whole bunch because I have tons and tons and tons of it. Okay. Now to glue this down, I am actually going to, I think I'm going to use my tape runner first. And I'm just grabbing some scrap cardstock paper that I had. So just kind of, you use whatever glue you want. I'm just tacking this down for the moment, so I'm not dealing with wet glue right this second. Roughly, I'm trying to find about what half is. About right there. Let's do that. Okay. And I'm just going to put a little bit of glue or tape or something down on that side. Okay. So that they work the same. And if you wanted to, on your stack of letters that you're going to have on top here, you could even have strings coming out from this way, and you could have, you know, a tie this way and then a tie coming in from that way. You know what I mean? But I'm not. Okay, so I've just kind of tacked those down with a little bit of glue. Now I've got some scrap cardstock right here, and this is not going to show because this is all getting covered with paper. And I just want to make sure those strings stay and they don't pull out. So I'm a little heavy-handed on the glue right here. And all I'm doing is just tacking that down. I'm going to open that up so it can be flat. I'm just tacking this down. Okay. It's not going to show, so we don't have to worry about it matching. It's just holding my string down a little bit more securely. And I'm especially putting the glue a little heavy where my string runs through at. And notice I'm staying back away from the edges a little bit because I'm going to cover this with paper, and I don't want this to accidentally peek out past my paper, my decorative paper. Okay, all right, so that was our first step. Got our strings on there. Okay, now, and that's going to tie our bundle of letters closed. Now I'm also going to want to tie my journal closed, and for that I want to use sari silk. That's just my preference. So I'm going to snip off some of that. If I can find the end of it. Let's see here. I don't know where the end is. That's okay. I'm just going to make a new end. I don't normally do that, but I'm on camera and I really don't want to waste time, so. Okay, so I've snipped off 2 pieces of my sari ribbon. I get a lot of questions about sari ribbon. Sari ribbon is made from sari garments. Now that is what the traditional garment of Indian women is, and when they are done with their garments, they get ripped up into long strips and then sewn together and put into bundles of ribbon. So it's a great way to recycle, and it's also a great way to help those local people there, as long as you're buying it from an ethically sourced shop. I use Victorian Gypsy Girl, I believe is her name. I'll make sure I put her link below. That's where I buy all my sari at, and I believe that's where Mrs. Cog's Crafts buys all of hers, as well as many other crafters. Alright, so I'm just tacking down my sari ribbons. So that's to tie the actual journal closed. Okay, we're getting to the fun part. Alright, so I have my 4 envelopes. Let me think here. I think the first one I want to put down is this one. And then I know I want this, and this. Yeah, I think that's the way I like it. That's the way. Sorry, every time I say that, it puts that song into my head. Yeah, I like that. Okay, so I'm going to glue down. Let me set those just like that. I'm going to glue this envelope down first. Actually, before I glue it, I want to ink the edges real quick. That would make it a whole lot easier, wouldn't it? So all I'm going to do is I'm going to ink the edges of all 4 of my envelopes, so I don't have to get too carried away, because we're going to cover them all up with decorative paper anyway. So just get the edges inked up so they're not all bright white, unless that's what you like. If that's what you like, then don't ink them up. So I'm just going to go through, ink all the edges on these, and I'll probably go ahead and ink the edges on these too, and then I'll come right back, okay? Okay, so I have inked up the edges of all my envelopes, and now we are ready to glue them down. And I'm just taking my largest junk mail envelope there, and I'm taking one of my smaller greeting card envelopes, and I'm going to glue the flap of this one to this one, just like that. Okay, so that way it flips out like that, and then this is going to flip out like this. So now I'm just going to put some glue on the back of this flap. Oop. Okay. Glue that on there like so. Okay, so now I have a flip and another flip. Oops, got a little heavy-handed on my glue. It's okay. We're going to cover all of that with paper. Okay. Now this side, I'm taking my larger greeting card envelope and my smaller junk mail envelope, and I'm going to glue those down. Yeah, I think I like that. I think I like it staggered just a little bit. Okay. So I'm just going to, let's see how I want to do this. I'm going to put some glue on this flap. Oops, bumped my light. Okay. Yeah, that'll work. Okay, and then I'm putting glue on the back of this flap. Okay, I'm going to flip these up out of the way. Make sure your strings and your ties are out there. And I'm just getting fairly close to the edge. Okay, make sure you flip them back open so you make sure you don't accidentally glue them. All right, so that looks like a mess, doesn't it? It'll work out, I promise. Okay, so that's your stack of letters, and then you've got these ties right here that you can tie. They're way longer than they need to be. I'll cut them off later. You can tie these so your little bundle of letters looks like it's tied on. Okay, and that keeps them from you know, flopping around when you have your journal. Okay, and then you open it up, and now you've got your spine, and this little, we're going to keep this flap just like it is, and the back side. Okay, so that's the basis for your journal. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and reinforce my spine though. Let me grab some cardstock. I've got some scrap right here. Okay, and I'm just going to trim that off about the same size. There's my pencil. About the same height as my envelopes. And I'm just going to go a little bit bigger. Sorry, I'm cutting off camera here because my paper trimmer is so large I don't really want to have to move things around to make it fit in. Yeah, that will work just great. Okay. All right, let's go ahead and put a fold line in it though. And if you don't want to dig out your scoreboard, sometimes it works really well just to hold a ruler on there and then take your little stylus thing. What do you call this thing? Your little embossing tool. Okay. And just run it up and down there a few times and you can get a nice clean fold that way. Okay. And and about 1/4 of an inch. Ooh, that was a little bigger than... Oop, dog is snoring. I do apologize. He's always so noisy and has to make an appearance every time. Okay. The only reason I'm doing that is so that when I glue this in here, it's not so hard to fold it. No, no, baby. Okay. Yeah, see how that's going to work? It's going to reinforce that, and I've pre-folded it so it's a little easier to work with, okay? So I'm going to put some glue here on the back side. So some of you may know that we have a puppy in the house. Carly is her name. She's a golden retriever, just like my big girl Carmen. So now we have Carmen and Carly, the golden girls, and Blue is the beagle who's snoring away down there. So if Carly yips, then I do apologize for that. She shouldn't need to go out. I made sure everybody went out before I started because, you know, they're like kids when you get ready to leave on a trip. You know, it's like, did everybody go to the bathroom? Okay, good. Now we can leave. And then you get out in the car and everybody's like, oh, I gotta go to the bathroom now. Well, that's how the dogs are every time I start a video. I try to make sure everybody goes outside. No. Everybody has what they need. And then it never fails. As soon as I turn on the camera, they all want something. Okay. I think that worked pretty well. Check it one more time. See, the pre-folding there, to me, it just made it a little bit easier than trying to fold that blindly. Okay, so that reinforces my spine there. I'm not, on my journal, I'm not actually going to sew my signature in my spine. I'm going to do what's called an easy twine binding, to where you tie your signature in and your ties will show out here. And that allows you to replace your signatures as needed. So that's my plan anyway. I am, however, going to put some fabric down, I think, after I get it covered. So I'm going to cover it with the paper, the background paper, and then I may even reinforce it a little bit with some muslin fabric. Okay, so I think that is the main part of our journal, the bare bones of our journal, and in the next episode we are going to start gluing down our decorative papers. Okay, so I'll make sure I put everybody's shop links below so you can get the same materials that I have if you're wanting to craft along with me. Okay, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.